Welcome back, Patriots. And man, the Democrats have a new hoax regarding Donald Trump. I kid you not. They are straight up lying once again with Donald Trump, and they're saying he's not fit to hold office. Oh, you guys said all these things about Joey. Wait till I show you the clip of them saying that basically, oh, we should implement the 25th Amendment. He's not fit. Look how elderly he is. The lying and the gaslighting is unbelievable from the Democrat Party. Look, I'm not saying Republicans and conservatives don't lie and make crap up, but the Democrat Party is on a whole nother level when it comes to hoaxes, fabricating stories and narratives, evidence, like legitimately fabricating evidence. Y'all remember the classified documents strewn out that it was a photo op for them, that some of the stuff was created. Well, this first one I'm going to show you in a moment is really an unbelievable hoax, because this is it's a video clip that's going to show you something that's not there. It's just not there, but they're going to try to find whatever they can. They're grabbing at straws, folks. They're throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what sticks, but it's good to see you, everybody. It's really good to see you. All righty, well, let's get to the clip. Brad, what are you talking about? I don't remember this. All right, well, here we go, and I'll show you some of the comments. This is the new video that everyone's talking about. Here we go. So this is Donald Trump.
Big hug. Thank you very much, everybody.
Doing a press conference. And they're saying that he was going to walk into a pillar, into the wall. So I just want to go back here. He does not. He is going to try to go between the pillar and the police officer. And I'll try to pause it right where you can see, like, there's plenty of room. He's not going to walk into the pillar. Right there. Right. You can literally see him standing in front of the pillar. I'm trying to pause it perfectly for y'all. It's not easy. It's not easy. Do you see that? He's in front of the pillar. I really, and it's unbelievable. So now they're saying, oh, he's deranged. He's going to walk into the wall. Right? A visibly confused Donald Trump almost walks into a column, and a waiting police officer. So this is what people are saying. If that was Biden, people would be losing it. His dementia is much worse than Biden. I'm not kidding. This is what the left are saying, the Democrat Party. Come on, Republicans, that's your confused old orange turd. The Republicans are quiet now. He is unfit to be president. Dementia Don? Wow, this country is in big trouble. That would have been classic. If this was Biden, it would have been a lead story on the 6 p.m. news. Folks, the whole conversation the last week was that you idiots, not you patriots, the Democrats, the mainstream media covered up Joe Biden's dementia. Matter of fact, I know that they did because I've asked some people, why is nobody talking about it years ago? I've actually talked to the reporters. None of these people have. None of these people have. Like, that's the whole story that's going on. That's why everybody's saying historical cover-up has never happened like this on a scale in American history. These people are idiots. You are going to see how stupid a lot of people are, and I'm using that word very heavily right now. Again, if it was Biden, well, the problem is that there's nothing here. That's why there's no story. That's why nobody's talking about it. The dude was going to go one direction. Johnson said, hey, we need you back this way. So he went back the other way. Oh man, this is elder abuse. How can Melania and his cabinet allow this? Just horrible. Well, at least Donald Trump isn't having cabinet meetings with Melania running it. It's unbelievable. No thought in these people's heads. I swear. People are really stupid. And I think I just need to start saying that more. Like, I'm not a savant. Look, I'm stupid too. But what does that say about the people that I'm calling stupid? They're on a whole nother level of being stupid. At least I'm consistent. Somewhat. Okay, hey, okay, somewhat. So that's the new hoax, folks. Be on the lookout. Now, this is no different. It's no different than what we've seen in the past. What are some hoaxes that were on this scale that the left tried to do in Donald Trump's first term? The glass of water shake, right? Now, he is, sometimes you pick something up at the wrong angle and you shake it just a little bit. You know what I mean? Oh, he's unfit to hold. This is a real thing. I'm not even making this up. His hand was slightly shaken with a cup of water. He's unfit to hold office. What's wrong? Medical diagnosis. And then the one that I always share as well was when he slipped down the ramp slightly, like barely slipped with business shoes, because there's actually ice that was created on the ramp to get off the stage during a speaking engagement. So he slightly slipped with business shoes. See, most of these people have never worn business shoes and have no idea what business shoes feel like. Never even been in a business, probably never even held a real job. I, on the other hand, used to be a public accountant. By the way, I still wear business shoes every day to work. I still wear slacks. I still wear a tie and a shirt. The only thing I don't wear is a suit jacket. I wear a suit basically to work every day. I know what business shoes feel like, and especially expensive ones. They are very slippery, even on carpet. But they wouldn't know that. They wouldn't know that. No. Alrighty, let's get into the news, folks. Thank you for letting me wet my whistle. My throat's really dry, more than normal today, so bear with me. I would have been fine if he walked into the column. The man is living on 40 minutes of sleep a day, all for America. Sharon makes a great point. That is true. Johnny says, I know that I'm not supposed to hate, but those woke libtards, demon rats with Trump derangement syndrome are pushing my patience. The woke need to be deported. I'm willing to offset that. I would love to keep the illegal immigrants that actually want to make America great, live the American dream, abide and assimilate to our creeds and our value system, and are good people, then keep them here and then deport the woke people that don't want to assimilate to our creed or value system, think America is a horrible racist country and all the negative things that come along with it. You know, we get rid of them. I'll make an exchange. I got no qualms with that. I really don't. I've always said time and time again, there is a lot of great illegal immigrants that are here. The problem is that you came here illegally and you just can't do that. You can't break the law, and we have a system here. And when you start breaking the system and you don't want to take laws seriously, that's where chaos happens. And you see that a lot in other countries. Let's get into a little bit of the morning brief here. Trump was on Capitol Hill, as you just saw with Mike Johnson. And the president's budget has been moving through Congress for months and is now approaching the final finish line, which I'll have some updates for you in just one moment. Rather than breaking the bill up into smaller pieces to be voted on piecemeal, the president has urged Congress to pass the whole thing at once in one big, beautiful bill. This law would amount to what the White House calls the largest tax cut in American history. Very well could be true. Among other things, it would codify his plan for no taxes on tips, overtime Social Security payouts. It would also increase child tax credits, remove more than 1 million illegal immigrants from Medicaid, thank God, increase funding for border construction is exactly what I voted for, overhaul the Federal Aviation Administration, big time needed, and make Trump's 2017 tax cuts permanent, which is a big thing. And by the way, even the Democrats were begging for this. It's amazing actually watching some like actual real Democrats. I'm not talking about the progressive lefties, folks. When I'm talking Democrats, I'm talking like RFK Jr. type Democrats, Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, those people. Even they're like, they're more like independents now. But they're the ones that were even asking for this because they're about to feel the pain. Without this bill, Americans earning between $30,000 and $80,000, which, by the way, is the average income of an American, would be between these amounts. A year would pay around 15% less in taxes, which is projected to increase around $5,000 to median household income. So that is great news right there coming out. At the moment, the House plans to vote on the bill by Thursday, although it's uncertain whether it will pass. Again, I got some updates for you guys in a moment. Because House Republicans hold such a slim majority, they've got to have almost total unity to get anything passed. Looking at this bill, other than the fact that it does increase our deficit, I really don't know why Democrats wouldn't get behind it. That's mind-blowing to me. Other than, okay, they don't want the border security, but they said they wanted border security under the last administration. I don't understand that. Oh, we need legislation. We need Congress to act. How many weeks did we hear Karine Jean-Pierre say, we need Congress to act. We need legislation. We need Congress to give us money. I mean, dude, it had to have been for like 2 years straight. It was wild hearing what we had to hear from Sideshow Bob. So now that we're here, why are you not passing it through? Anybody who didn't support it as a Republican, I would consider to be a fool, Trump said. It's a great bill. There's a lot of great things in there and a lot of things I voted for personally. A lot of things I voted for. So now we're going to get into the COVID lies, folks. Here we go. Uh-oh. Ouchie Fauci. I stole that from my friend Nick. Ouchie Fauci. Oh, the liar of lies. Here we go. A bombshell report released from the Senate says federal health agencies were aware of COVID vaccine risks months prior to alerting the American people. Uh-oh. This is where the viewership starts going down. You want to know why? Because YouTube doesn't like this. YouTube doesn't like this kind of speech. Morning Wire got an early look at a report by the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, which claims that Biden-era federal health agencies were aware of severe adverse health reactions associated with these COVID vaccines, but they downplayed health concerns and delayed alerting the public about these risks for months. Specifically, they allegedly knew about risks like myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle, and pericarditis, which is inflammation of the thin sac surrounding the heart. The report includes more than 2,000 pages of documents allegedly showing evidence of this apparent cover-up. So it's not like, oh, one or two things. No, Nick's not bald. Nick actually has hair. It's not like one or two things. It's 2,000 pages. Senator Ron Johnson, the chairman of the investigation subcommittee, will hold a full hearing on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Now, nobody on our side of the aisle, Republicans, conservatives, none of us are shocked, like at all. So we're like, whoa, can you believe it? Yes, I can. Absolutely can I believe this. I know there's even more out. There's way more regarding COVID that we don't know about. Way more. And by the way, remember when Fauci, I always love using this one because you always wonder how he came up with some of this stuff, like the 6 feet distance width between each other. You must stand 6 feet apart so that you can slow the spread. And everybody came out and did studies like, right, if you sneezed, like it's just going like 20 feet down the way, right? And then they're saying you need to mask up because it's going to stop the particles. But then people were sneezing, you just see a poof, just a huge smoke on camera. So they're both BS at the end of the day. The mask didn't do anything. The 6 feet distancing didn't do anything. And what was remarkable is he actually came out because somebody asked him about the 6 foot. Like, hey, how'd you guys come up with that number? What kind of formula did you use? Can you get us in like your head a little bit of like what were all the variables that went inside this multivariate analysis? Like, really break it down for us. And he goes, he didn't say these exact words, but man, it was really close to it. He basically said, I just made it up. It seemed like a good number. I am not making that up in the slightest. You can find that anywhere on the internet. It was remarkable. We did a whole segment on it, let's just say. Meanwhile, the Food and Drug Administration has revised its guidance on COVID vaccine. Oh, the FDA says it will continue to approve COVID vaccines for seniors and people at high risk, but the agency is now requiring, oh, you gotta love this. Hold on. No, remember how we couldn't say this years ago? I'm not joking. YouTube would literally take down my live stream if I were to say this like 5 years ago. Hold on. Look at this. Look at this. This is exactly what we said. This is exactly what we were saying. And we were conspiracy theorists. To a T, this is exactly what we're saying. The FDA says that it will continue to approve COVID vaccines for seniors and people at high risks. We were saying, why are you giving kids vaccines? They're not high risk. Why are you giving young people the vaccine? They're not even high risk. Why are you forcing people to take something when they're not risk? There's not high risk. I remember sitting at work with my buddy. We both teach statistics. His master's is in statistics. And we were always going over the data like every single day in the classroom. And our minds were completely blown at the type of governmental authoritarian force they were putting down our throats and how willing people were to give up their freedoms based on the data that was being provided, where you had like a 99.99% chance of surviving. It was really no different than the flu for those that were healthy. It was those that were unhealthy, those that had multiple comorbidities. That's where you had been in the risk factor. Elderly, but also kind of obese with maybe some sort of organ issue, like a a terrible heart or maybe like a kidney. Those are the people that were at risk. But now you can come out and say that all you want. Before, I'm telling you, before you actually would have been removed off YouTube. I mean, Dan Bongino, I'm not saying Dan Bongino got removed for talking about COVID, but Dan Bongino got removed off YouTube. That's why he was over at Rumble. The agency is now requiring vaccine makers to conduct new clinical trials before approving these vaccines for wider public. Oh, lovely. Lovely. now we're gonna do wider vaccines. I remember listening to doctors. I think even Neil deGrasse Tyson was advocating, oh, well, we tested it. Oh, we tested it. No, you didn't. You didn't do a wide, long-term test on any of this stuff. And it didn't even work. Remember how we were being sold on it? Remember how we were being sold on the COVID-19 vaccine? If you get it, you won't get COVID-19. Yeah, you won't get it at all. Believe it or not. It's amazing. It's a miracle drug. Yeah, not only will you not get it, you can't actually spread it. That's great. Remember how they sold everybody on that? It was a bunch of lies. They're a bunch of liars. Yeah, if you get the COVID vaccine, you're not going to get COVID. And people are like getting COVID. And then they're, okay, well, sorry. Oopsie, we messed up. We just didn't put enough oomph in the shot. You got to get another one. You got to get a booster. If you get the booster, yeah, you got to believe us now. If you get the booster, you're actually not going to get COVID-19. I know, it's crazy. I know we sold you on the lie the first time, but we're going to see if we can do it again. So people got the booster, are still spreading COVID-19 and get it themselves. Sorry, there's another one. There's another booster. So people are suckers, man. It's like when Joe Biden, you call them suckers and losers. You call them suckers and losers. I'm Corn Pop. I touched leg hair of some person. These companies will have to conduct randomized placebo-controlled trials, which is what you should have done before the FDA will approve these shots for healthy Americans between the ages of 6 months and 64-year-old. But I was told it's supposed to be high risk. Between the ages? Dr. Jay Padakarchara, who leads the National Institute of Health, upset some bureaucrats at the agency when he said at a town hall event that he believes the COVID pandemic was likely started by research that the NIH funded. Gain of function research, which Rand Paul had been talking about for a while. I mean, he was calling out ouchie Fauci for a long time that we helped fund this whole thing. Remember Fauci was like, yeah, we don't do any gain of function research. Yeah, what are you talking about? We don't give any money to that. He's like, but I have it right here. Like, what is all this? We do not do any gain of function research, Senator. Senator, we don't do any gain of function research. You don't know what you're talking about, Senator. Remember how many times he would always say that? It was a pretty damn good impression, by the way, for 6:17 in the morning. You're welcome, Patriots. You're welcome. Hit that like and subscribe button if you think we deserved it, please. Well, he also said, if it's true that we sponsored research that caused a pandemic, and if you look at polls of the American people, that's what most people believe. Well, yeah, I mean, we kind of have the internet to look up this stuff nowadays. What we have to do is make sure that we do not engage in research that's any risk of opposing any risk to human populations. Doesn't this seem obvious? I mean, really, doesn't this seem obvious that this is something we like? What is the intention of doing gain of function research? What's the intention of mixing animals and viruses together that has like a 90% effect of killing somebody? Like that stuff's out there. That stuff's out there in the ether that they've developed. Tell you why, because they want to obviously use it at some point, some sort of weaponry. We have here, while the United States has provided the lion's share of the organization's funding, historically, other countries such as China have exerted undue influence over its operations in ways that serve their own interest and not particularly the interest of the global public. Well, no, duh. This all became obvious during the COVID pandemic when the World Health Organization, under pressure from China, suppressed reports at critical junctures of human-to-human transmission and then worked with China to promote the fiction that COVID originated from bats or pangolins rather than, that's supposed to be, I thought it was supposed to be penguins, but rather than from what the Chinese government sponsored. So they lied about it. I've mentioned again, time and time, where is the penalty on China? Is that a remarkable thing that nothing's happened to them? From my understanding, not really any sanctions due to COVID-19. for lying and killing millions of people? I mean, they just offed millions of people around the world by releasing a virus upon everybody. Nothing. I mean, think about that. Nobody went to jail. Nobody went to prison. Nobody's even executed for unleashing a virus upon the globe that killed millions of people. I mean, I hope we never see that in our lifetime again, but you probably will never see that in your lifetime again. Nothing happened to anybody. China holds about 7 to 9% of our debt. Okay, that's how much they own. I've said, wipe that out. That's trillions of dollars, by the way. Wipe it out. I'll take that all day. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to go to prison. You don't want anything bad to happen to you. Fine. Wipe out that debt. We're good. We'll call it there. Fair and square. Nothing's happened. And that's really frustrating. The other thing that's very frustrating, that doesn't really affect a lot of you, but it affects me. And it does affect you in some way, shape, or form, because everybody looks at California as the guinea pigs, where they're going to try whatever experimental things they want, whether it's mass homelessness, mass illegal immigration, massive drug operations taking place. What happens when you go soft on crime? We're the guinea pigs for all the other states. Everybody looks at us, goes, okay, what's California doing? Let's see how it works there, those idiots. Well, here we go. California's in a fiscal crisis. You have to wonder, how is California in a fiscal crisis if we have the fourth largest economy in the world? In the state of California, we have the fourth largest economy. And the left are bragging about this. I live here in California. I've lived here my entire life. I'm 36. They are bragging about this fourth largest economy in the world, and they're saying Gavin's doing a great job. How do I know this? Because I've actually talked to them. I've debated them on TikTok. This is what they're saying. How is it? You have the fourth largest economy in the world. You're the highest tax state in the union by far. And you are still running a deficit. How does this affect you guys? Gavin, right here, this psycho, is going to run for president. Get ready. And if he ran this state into the ground, I've lived here my entire life. I've watched it happen with my own eyes. I don't care what the Democrats and left say. I've watched it. It's crippled. I've seen things that you guys will never see in your states. He's going to do it to the country. You think Joe's bad? You thought Joe was bad? I didn't think we could actually get a worse president than Joe again. You are looking at it on your screen, named Gavin Newsom. Last week, California Governor Gavin Newsom announced his state faces an astounding budget deficit next year of $12 billion. That's a lowball number. It's worse than that. Oh, it's way worse than that. The economic outlook for the so-called Golden State has darkened since January, when the budget looked almost balanced. No, it didn't. They're idiots. They don't know how to add numbers. Newsom is blaming the budget hole on Trump. On Trump. He's blaming it on Trump. You can't make it up. You really can't. On a Trump slump brought on by the president's tariffs, as well as Washington's attack on California's economy. This is what they do. They blame anybody and everybody out there in the ether other than themselves. You will never solve the problem because you're blaming somebody else for the problem that you caused. You're the problem, Gavin. You and the Democrat Party that's running this entire state. It's almost hard to find a Republican that's even in office in California. Gavin, it's you and the Democrats that are crippling the state. You crippled the country. You're crippling your states. You're crippling your localities. You don't look any further than every Democrat ran area out there. You suck at your job, Gavin, and I've called you out time and time again. And people wonder, Brad, why are you still in California? Because I am in the front line taking grenades for the American people. Because I love this state, man. Here's a problem with me. When I see a problem, I don't run away from it. I want to solve it. I really do. And I'm not ragging on Californians that got out of here. They got out of the trenches. They couldn't handle the warfare anymore. I get it. But man, Can you, it was like this. I voted for Donald Trump 3 times. I've never not voted for Donald Trump. It wasn't a cool thing to vote for Donald Trump the first time. I have a red hat. This hat right here. Now it's not even a MAGA hat. You see this hat? There's a reason why it looks brand new. I don't wear this anymore. You want to know why? It's because in the state of California, wearing a red, hand to God, I wore this hat during the first administration, like right before he got elected in office. I was being called a racist and everything for wearing a red hat in California. Not even a MAGA hat, just a red Under Armour hat. That's a hand to God true story. It wasn't a cool thing to do, but now it is. Now it's like, whoa, like you voted for Trump 3 times. I voted for him. I came around after the first one. There's potential here in California. And I want to be a part of turning the state around. And I want to try. I really do. Now, that only goes to a certain extent. At some point, you got to stop shooting yourself in the foot and kicking your own tush, like you see in Liar Liar with Jim Carrey. When he goes into the bathroom, he starts kicking his own ass. Right now, it's fair. I am. I'm beating myself up. But, man, the state has so much potential of literally being the greatest state in the union. The Democrats just need to get the hell out of the way. Man, you could turn this place around. I'm telling you, you really can't. It wouldn't take long, actually. The amount of money that we have, it's not going to take long. You just got to have people willing to get this guy out of office and somebody else good. Hell, I'll run for governor. I'll fix this shit real quick. But according to the budget document, Newsom released, less than half of the deficit is from reduced tax revenue. Uh-oh. Quote, California is increasing their spending faster than they expected. You want to know why? Because he's giving free stuff to all the illegal aliens. And that's not my words. That's actually his words. He said himself that when they were tapping into our medical system, because he opened it up to everybody, he said, quote, I didn't think so many people would tap into the free stuff. It's not an exact quote, but man, it is very, very close to it. It is very close to it. California is increasing their spending faster than they expected. And the big driver of that higher spending is Medicaid or Medi-Cal, or as it's known here. Well, why would that be? What's going on? The health insurance program for the poor. Oh, gee, probably because we had a lot of homeless here in the state of California. We have over a quarter of the nation's homeless population in LA County alone. We have like 40% of the nation's homeless population in one state. Do you think they're going to tap into these health services? Just the homeless, by the way, just the homeless. They are tapping into this structure, our healthcare system, so hard in the state of California. By the way, my premiums are going back up. I just got my new insurance for next year. That's going up. The premiums are going up. You want to know why they're going up? Is because people that don't pay into the system are going and getting these services that basically I'm paying for with my premiums. That's why the premiums are going up. And that's just for the homeless, by the way. They want to give, and they're giving free syringes, marijuana, and alcohol to homeless people in the state of California. Just to do in broad daylight. They've actually sectioned off areas for homeless people to go to do drugs, to do alcohol, to do all those things right out there in the open, sometimes in front of your children. The reason for it is they said, we think it's better that we enable their addiction than for them to go through withdrawals and impact our healthcare system. We don't need the emergency rooms to be flooded because they're already flooded with illegals and everybody else. If you want to go to an emergency room in the state of California, you're going to have to wait 8 to 10 hours probably, and you will never get a bed. They will have you sit in a chair, or if you do get a bed, you're going to be getting attention in the hallway. That's how impacted our healthcare system is here. There's so many illegals. There's so many sick homeless people that they can't provide enough care. So if the homeless people are already impacting the system, what do you think about the millions of illegals that are here in the state? Look at this. In the rest of the country, Medicaid covers about 20% of people, but in California, it's about 1/3 and is growing very rapidly. One of the reasons it's been growing is more coverage for what? Illegal immigrants and asylum seekers. Oh, lovely. Lovely. I always bring you the receipts. I always bring you the receipts. If I was governor, I would turn this ship around so quick your head would spin. It's like I would rip off the Band-Aid. It'd be unbelievable. That's why I would never get elected. I would turn this ship around so quick. It's all for the benefit of the state, man. Everybody would benefit, but nobody wants to do it because everybody thinks Gavin and Democrats know what they're doing. They don't. I'll give you an example of how I know this. One, I've lived here my entire life. I've talked to these people, so that's the obvious one. The receipts that I've shown you is Democrats are so in a cult. They are so brainwashed that we watched an interview of a gentleman going to a state, like a specific locality in a state, that is never in the country's history, in that locality's history, I mean that in all literal sense, has never had a Republican in office. The locality area was dilapidated, completely falling apart. It's one of those where it's just everything's rotted out. The wood's rotted. The businesses are closing down. The grass is overgrown. I mean, it's just dilapidated. It's terrible. And he talked to the people in that area. He said, well, why don't you just vote Republican and take a gamble? I kid you not. They said, well, Republicans are the ones that caused this mess. And he had to tell them that there has never been, ever, at all, a Republican that's ever governed, ever ran, ever was mayor, ever anything in this area, ever. And they said, oh, I didn't know that. And then he said, well, would you still now vote for a Republican to fix it? No. They love dealing. This is a mental problem, folks. This is all solvable. That's the crazy. It's a mental problem. It's very similar to personal finance, where it's 80% behavior, personal finance, 20% head knowledge. Fixing the state of California, I don't even think is 20% head knowledge. I don't even think it's 10%. It's 5%. Folks, I used to look at companies' budgets all the time. I used to do their financial sheets. I used to do reviews and compilations all the time. Doing the math as a math teacher isn't hard, especially as a statistician, a stats teacher. None of this is hard. It's trying to change the behavior and the culture of California. You want to know what it is? It's not bad enough here yet. That's the problem. Things haven't gotten bad enough for these people. A lot of these Democrats don't feel the pain of their premiums going up. They don't feel the pain, or they don't see it happening. And what do I mean by that? And I know I'm going on a tangent here, but I think it's important because it shows that it takes a long time to shift culture. It takes a long time to shift public perception, and it hasn't even started here in the state of California. When you swipe a debit card, we've actually run studies on this, psychological studies. You charging on a credit card or you swiping a debit card does not have the same dopamine effect or cognitive effect, psychological effect on you than it does when you actually use cold hard cash. Cold hard cash. Because people aren't actually feeling the effects of the money leaving their hand in the state and going to somebody else, meaning they're not taking out their wallet and giving it to an illegal immigrant here. Perfect. Here's a homeless person. Good. Here's another illegal. Because that effect's not happening, they actually don't feel it. They don't see it happening. So for them, it's just, oh, well, somebody else is paying for it. No, you're paying for it. You just don't, you're not realizing how much money you can have in your wallet. Just a few months ago, Newsom announced that the state needed to borrow $2.7 billion. There's never enough money. And he wants to raise taxes again, by the way, in the state. You're already the highest tax state in the union. How much more are you possibly going to start taking money from Californians? Because more immigrants were enrolling in the new program than expected. There you go. Remember that quote I was telling you about where he's like, I didn't realize so many people would want free stuff. That's it right here. This is it. That's the quote. I'm so glad that there's receipts in here. I'm so glad that you know that I'm not ever blowing smoke up your, you know what? You know, I'm always a straight shooter with you guys. Isn't this exactly what I was talking about? Where I just didn't know people would actually tap into the system as much as they did. Isn't that what I just talked about 5 minutes ago? There's the quote. I'm going to read it again. Just a few months ago, Newsom announced that the state needed to borrow an extra $2.7 billion because more immigrants were enrolling in the program than expected. Glock told Daily Wire. There you go. There you go. Unbelievable. It's really fast. It's remarkable is what it is. It actually is remarkable. Let's get to other news here. We went over a lot already. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, folks, we do this each and every morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, each and every morning. I would really love for you to join us. If you're wondering, like, how does this guy do it, man? This guy has a lot of energy. This is not my normal job. I go to work directly after this, folks. It's because I drink 1775 coffee, baby. If you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped, only 1,000 units, folks. They're consistently doing 1,000 because you guys are buying this up and people are liking it. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom coffee for clean energy, and laser focused, no crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Plus, you're getting a bunch of stuff here. You get a golden spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. No way. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions, and a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. It's $170 worth of coffee, folks, and gear, but you're getting it for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up. We're a morning show. We drink it all the time. That's what I'm wetting my whistle with. Blow up on Rumble. Wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, you guys are buying it. Most of you, I've always said this, most of you buy the medium roast from what you've been telling me via email or like sharing photos of your package being delivered on your front doorstep. Just it's so good. On Twitter and X, I appreciate that. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit right now before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and morning routine that stands for something. Just like Rumble does, start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. I love it. It tastes good. And I drink coffee all the time. I drink it dark. So I know that if there's chemicals in it, I don't like it. I don't like it. I need the good stuff. I drink my coffee dark. I don't add creamer. I don't add flavor. The flavor comes from the beans themselves. You're going to be, look, it's going to, you're going to go through it quick because you're here every morning with me. But I would love for you guys to have a cup of coffee with me. That's always the nice thing. Having a cup of coffee with good folks in the morning. And I'm blessed to have and be able to do this because I get to hang out with good folks and patriots every single morning. That's like the best part. The news isn't the best part. I get to come in and hang out with all you guys. Like, you guys let me hang out with you. I appreciate that. And I really do. It's a hand to God. I sincerely mean that. I'm like, I'll look you straight in the face, but there's like hundreds of you. But I really do mean that. I love it. Folks, I'm not a morning person. I've said this time and time again. I wake up at like 4:30 to do the show. And it's not like pat on the back. Wow. I think that shows that I like doing this. Like, we're not making a killing. I don't do this. This doesn't offset income. This is not like job replacement money here at all. It's not even like grocery money. I think it shows that I do mean that. You know what I mean? I work multiple jobs. This is not my job. This is my hobby. For me to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and do this right before work, and then to get dressed in 5 minutes and then go straight to work all day, and then sometimes to come back home and do a Dark MAGA podcast, I genuinely believe it, that I love hanging out with you guys, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Brad likes seeing pictures of people's packages. Did I hear that? Pat's going directly for his camera right now. He's going to get a good pic of this. Pat, I love you. All right. Well, Senate unanimously passes No Tax on Tips Act. Here we go. I told you I'd give you updates. On Tuesday, the GOP-led Senate unanimously passed bipartisan legislation from Senator Ted Cruz that seeks to make good on President Donald Trump's campaign promise from getting rid of taxes on tips. What's funny is there's a viral video on TikTok of a Democrat saying that Donald Trump wasn't going to do this, that Donald Trump didn't have this in part of his bill. Well, that didn't age well, did it? Because they're liars. That's all they do is lie. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they just can't be in good faith. I really don't. And they say the same thing about us. But the difference is that if you saw that video I started the show off with, where they're already spreading a new hoax about Donald Trump walking into a pillar, which isn't even remotely what happened. That's all they do is they fabricate stuff. We're not fabricating that Joe has dementia. I mean, the guy has cancer now. And they covered that up. I mean, how many clips did we... I have videos of compilations of Joe Biden on my YouTube channel. What is it? 2.3 million, 2.6 million views. Another one was like 1.6 million views. I mean, millions of views showing Joe Biden, a montage, by the way, of him deranged, having dementia. So what is it that we're fabricating here? I mean, how many clips does somebody have to show you that the guy's deranged? It's like that Maryland man, the illegal immigrant that was deported, and rightfully so. He's in El Salvador now. El Salvadorian, nationally, he's from there. We send him back home. We're gentlemen. We send you back to your home country. We could have sent you anywhere else. We sent you back to your home country. You're welcome. He's a Maryland man. Oh, he's a good guy. But we said, how much evidence do we need to show you that he's not a good guy? The guy was allegedly trafficking people. So we showed you the traffic stop because you said that wasn't happening. Oh, where'd you get that from? Oh, come on. It's just from a cop. Okay, so we showed you body cam footage of the arrest. So the guy actually allegedly, I have to say it for legal purposes, allegedly, trafficking people across the country. You showed the documents of his own wife's handwriting, basically in her own words. She just put it on paper. She's beating the crap out of her and her kids. The kids were terrified. We saw like an ex-husband or whatever complaining about him too, that he's part of a gang, that he's part of MS-13. He has the symbols of MS-13 tattooed on him. Well, how do you know he's part of MS-13? I don't know, probably the tattoos that every MS-13 gang member has as well. That might do it for you. So what needless to say is there is no evidence that you could show these people that will change their mind. In the same way, and I'll connect this to the last story, you can run the state into the ground. Businesses falling apart, metaphorically and literally. People fleeing the state. You're paying for everybody's health care, their food, their services, everything else, and you're complaining why you have no money. You're already being taxed up the wazoo. Doesn't matter what it is. There's nothing you could possibly do to Democrats in the state of California that will change their vote to Republican. It's only Republicans that are going to get the job done and solve it. They won't believe it. On Tuesday, the GOP-led Senate unanimously passed bipartisan legislation from Senator Ted Cruz that seeks to make good on President Donald Trump's campaign. Like I said earlier, the no tax on tips component, one big, beautiful bill, which has its own tax on tips. However, the opposition did not materialize, and Cruz no tax on tips act passed by unanimously consent. I think it was like 100-0. So when they say unanimously, they do mean that. It was like 100-0, which is an agreement that allows the upper chamber to bypass standard rules to speed up proceedings. President Trump made a promise to the American people that he would eliminate taxes on tips, and Congress formed a bipartisan, bicameral coalition to get that done. And in the Senate introduced the no tax on tips, Cruz said in a statement. So there you go. If you're receiving tips, then that's huge. Now here, how does that potentially affect a streamer like me? You guys give donations, right, in the chat. Always appreciate you. Thank you so much for anybody that does that. Don't feel like you have to. That's not like a plug. It's just, I'm just mentioning it. And because it connects to this. We don't know if your donations are considered a tip. We don't know yet. The reason why is because a tip is like a server allegedly going above and beyond for the service that they provided, but it was a service that was provided that was unexpected. That's a key component. Whereas, for example, when somebody leaves a donation or a super chat in the chat, whether it's on Rumble or YouTube, there's an expectation that the streamer provides a service. And what I mean by that is the service that you expect to be provided is the streamer reading what you wrote in the chat along with the money that was provided. So it's like, hey, Brad, I'm going to give you $5. Can you say my comment? Obviously, I'm going to do that. And sometimes I even read your comments without you paying. But that would be why it might not be part of it. So we're still trying to see if, it'd be nice if I can get no tax on tips, because then I don't have to report all this stuff to the IRS. That would be great. That'd be great. Anthony says, my insurance premium jumped from $100 a month to $1,400 a month in December. Mine is jumping pretty substantially. Not like that. I'm sorry, man. That sucks. I don't know if you're from California, but my premiums are going up as well. I was just looking. Oddly enough, I was actually looking at it yesterday at work, because they it's open enrollment right now for me. All right, we got stuff on Iran here, and I'm being very close to the clock. I'm gonna have a hard out at 6:50. By the way, 6:50. I'll have a hard out. I'm holding myself to it. So Karen, you don't gotta blow up the chat. I love you, Karen. So I was telling my mods yesterday. I was like, hey, I was telling Dizzy, Pat, Jeff and Karen and all the people. I was like, hey, I got to be off by 6:50 because I actually have a work meeting. I was being sincere. I really do go to work after this. I was like, but I have an early work meeting. I got to be off by 6:50. I was like, you guys need to hold me to that. Don't let me keep going, because I love hanging out with everybody in the chat. And so I keep going and I shoot myself in the foot. But she's like, I'll just shut the chat down. Do you have that authority? I don't know if you do. But I will make sure I'm watching the clock very closely. I'll be off by 6:50, I promise. Normally we go till 7. Helps me plug the next thing. Starting in like 2-3 weeks here, I'm going to be doing multi-hour morning streams. So we're not going to be stopping at 7, folks. We're going on to like 8, 9. I'll go on however long I want. Is basically what I'm going to go to. I don't have to go to work yet. Dizzy, I don't have to go to work. Stop. Don't make me. All right, here we go. I want to get to this. Iran's supreme leader accuses Trump of lying. I just love the title. I love the title. It gets me going. Well, hold on. Ugh. Iran's supreme leader accuses Trump of lying. Iran. We do not fund terrorism. But not. Okay, sure. Accuses Trump of lying while the crowd is chanting death to America. You know this is going to be good, so buckle up. You know there's going to be a goodie in here. There's always a gem. Sometimes we got to go down a little bit. There's always a gem in here. Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei slammed President Donald Trump in front of a crowd chanting death to America in recent comments as the United States tries to negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran. Khamenei accused Trump of lying about attempts to bring peace to the Middle East and said that the United States should leave the region. The Supreme Leader also referred to Israel as a cancerous tumor that needs to be uprooted, according to a translation of his comments by the Washington, D.C. based Middle East Media Research Institute. Well, now we know why they want us out, is because they want to uproot Israel with a nuclear weapon. Do you know what that means? You've just exterminated the Jews. That's not a good thing. Yeah, I'm personally not a fan of exterminating anybody other than terrorists. That one's fine with me. I'm cool with exterminating terrorists. Some of the things the president said in his recent visit to the region are not even worthy of a response. Well, that's because you have no rebuttal, because you know it's true. Trump said that he wanted to use power for peace. He is lying. I'm not even bothered playing the video. I don't want to listen to this scumbag talk. In a reaction to Khamenei's comments throughout the roughly 4-minute clip, the crowd of supporters in the clip alternatively chant death to America, death to England, and death to Israel. The crowd also calls for death to those who oppose the rule of this jurisprudence, a reference to the Islamic law that the Iranian regime is based on. The Ayatollah Khamenei, I think people need to know this, and this is an exact quote from him, by the way. So this one is exact. He said, "Death to America is not just a slogan, it's a policy. People need to," this is why I get so frustrated with Democrats that want to take away my Second Amendment right, or doesn't want to increase military spending or defense or whatever it may be. They want to allow terrorists to pour across the country because they're idiots and they don't realize that there's real evil out there still happening. People are being burned alive, skinned alive. Can I share? You want to know something really messed up? And I'm sorry that I got to share this with you in the morning, but I think it's important to share. In the Middle East, what they're doing is they're gathering the women up and they're gang raping them, the women, pregnant women. And in some cases, they weren't pregnant before they got raped, and they're pregnant after they got raped. This is real stuff. I'm being sincere, by the way. It's messed up, but it's real. Somebody has to say it. What they're doing is they're giving birth to the baby. In some cases, they're doing this next act right after, or they're waiting a while, a couple weeks, for the baby to develop a little bit more. They're throwing the baby into the fire. And obviously it's being burned alive. And they're having the mothers eat the carcass of the baby right in front of them. And then they go back to doing the deeds again. This is real evil. This is happening right now. All across the Middle East, it's happening. Caging people, men, women, children, no matter what it is, and dropping them in pools and drowning them alive. This is all real. See, I do think it's important to bring these things up, whether I get censored on YouTube or not. I think it's important because these idiot Democrats think that everything is kumbaya. Everything's fine. Oh, it's Republicans' fault. The Iranian Supreme Leader's comments come after Trump completed a tour of the Middle East countries, announcing agreements with commitments that generate roughly $2 trillion. I think you're going to see some crazy stuff here coming in from Israel if Iran doesn't get a nuclear deal going. I'm tired of just dealing with terrorists. I'm not saying the Iranian people are terrorists, but the government funds terrorism. I'm personally just tired of it. And I think Israel is too. And that's why Israel is going to be going into Gaza soon. But you have Gazans flooding the streets to protest Hamas as IDF operations intensify. Anti-Hamas protests erupted in Gaza on Monday as the Israel Defense Forces intensified operations in Gaza and issued an evacuation order for the city. Thousands of Gazans took to the streets shouting anti-Hamas chants, according to the Gazan Christian activist. This is a clear rejection by the public of Hamas's both government and armed group existence in Gaza. For 18 years, Hamas has suppressed and dissent and used the pretext of resistance to justify its authoritarian crackdown. Good for these people. My worry is, as you saw from the last guy that led a protest, Hamas found him and then executed him. So it makes me a little bit worried. Well, there you have it. I just want to post one more thing. Karen, thank you so much for the $1. By the way, you didn't have to do that, but time to say goodbye, Brad. 1 second. I'll be done right now. I just want to let you guys know the IDF has started ground offensive into Gaza to finish off Hamas. I think this is a very important thing. I'm just going to read this first thing and then I'm done. After having targeted Hamas strongholds with airstrikes over the last week on Sunday, Israel Defense Forces launched a massive ground assault to eradicate the terrorist group Hamas from Gaza. So I think they are going to go in. I think they're going to make things, hopefully, I hope they figure it out. I just want them to figure it out. With that being said, I do have to go. Thank you so much, everybody that joined me today. We do this each and every morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. There's no Dark MAGA tomorrow, but I will have my morning show tomorrow. So the morning show will be for the rest of the week. Just no Dark MAGA for the rest of the week. I apologize. I have to work Thursday from basically morning till 10 o'clock at night straight. So thank you to everybody to join me. If you're new here, let us know. We would love to give you a shout out in the chat. Subscribe. It's free. Follow me. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything, you guys. It's absolutely free. And we would love to have you join us each and every morning. We're always trying to grow our community here, and we love you to be a part of that. With that being said, have a lovely day, you guys. God bless. Take care of one another. Pray for this country. Pray for each other. Pray for Donald Trump. I'll see you later, Patriots.